Morning Tarot Sphere, it's Holly from Cape Cod Creatures, and I thought it might be fun to do the last 3 days of Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge as a breakfast club. Mostly because I don't have too much to say about the last 3 questions. Is that weird? So anyway, grab your coffees and snuggle on up, and we will go ahead and get this party started. Okay, so the first prompt is the mechanics of a reading. How do you think a reading works? Like, what do you believe you're receiving messages from and whatnot? And I suppose that's multifaceted. Higher self definitely comes into it. Spirit or the universe, if you want to think that way, definitely comes into it. Sometimes spirit guides. Sometimes like mostly just the universe and synchronicity, I think. And your subconscious and your you know your own brain, your own definitely it's a wonderful tool for psychological exploration. Hey, for everybody popping on, we're just talking about the first prompt for Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge, which is how you think a reading works. So if you want to go ahead and like chit chat about it, that'd be great. I'd love to hear what you all think. Right now I'm just kind of rambling. So honestly, when it comes to that stuff, I mean, I think there's definitely layers of how or why it works. One of the things that I love about tarot is it's great at getting you unstuck and making you think outside of the box. And I think that that is mostly, that is like a huge part of it. That is big. That is probably like a good 75% of what tarot actually does for people. The rest is all like the super fun, witchy woo, crazy synchronicity. How did you know that kind of a thing. And I like to leave myself open to that, but mostly I think of it as a vehicle for kind of delving into answers things that you already have the answer to, or ways to unstick yourself from situations. And then as far as how it works, I'm gonna stick with ICP on that one and be like, who knows? How do magnets work? Which is, they're never gonna live that down. Never, ever, ever. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I don't really know how or why it works the way it works the rest of the time. I'm not going to pretend to know. I think that anybody that does pretend that they know is probably talking a little bit out of their butts. But, I'm not going to presume to be the person that has all the answers as to how and why tarot works. Hey, creative, how are you? Speaking of coffee. So good. Starbucks came out with a toasted graham cracker K-cup, and it is like the best thing on the face of the planet. I'm addicted. First I hated it, and then I wished there was more of it for me to hate. So that's how you know you're hooked on something. So yeah, that's how, I mean, I don't presume to know all about the your husband thinks the way that you shuffle is how a reading works. I mean, definitely. I mean, our brains are like super powerful quantum computers, right? So for us to think that we don't know as far as the positions of cards and stuff, I think like deep down inside we know. So there could be a little bit of like us picking the card, like it could be like purposeful that way, but we don't realize it because it's our subconscious. There's like, we could probably talk about it forever. So I don't know why I didn't think I had a lot to say on the subject. That's weird. But yeah, I mean, like it could be one of a million things, but I'm not going to presume to know exactly which one of those million things is why tarot works as well as it does. My husband's the exact same way, which is weird because he was he was almost a Jehovah's Witness when he was younger. Like he was signing up and then was just like, maybe not. But yeah, he's super, any Sun of Radiance card will pop out for you. That's weird. But yeah, it's like, that's, I don't know. Like I said, it's for us to presume that we know. Like, how do we know there's not like a little ghost being like, pew, there's your stalker card? Like, we don't know. Like, So for us to presume that we do know, or like, here's my thoughts on the subject, I'm just going to go ahead and be the guy that admits I have no fucking clue. So there we have it. We don't know how tarot works. It just does. And why ask? If it's working, why ask questions, right? So anyway, we are going to move on to my most inclusive deck. Oh, and we'll loop back around, you guys. If we want to talk more about one of these things, we'll loop back around for convo. My most inclusive deck. So this one was kind of a hard question for me because I actually go out of my way to not own too many decks with people in them. And the people that I have in them are like mermaids and shit. So I had to really think on it. Like, what would be my most inclusive deck? So I'm gonna have to firstly say the Tarot of the Silicon Dawn. And I was actually really looking forward to this one. I love non-traditional decks. Well, animal decks first. I love me some animal decks. And then after that, I love me some non-traditional style decks. And I mean, I own, so culturally inclusive too is kind of a catch. Because I have other decks that are representative of other cultures, but they're of one specific culture. Because that's the other thing about a deck. I might be weird, but like, I will take me a deck that is representative of another culture. I kind of hate when there's a mishmash. Is that weird? Like, I want it like my Japanese manga deck. Like, I love my Manga Tarot. Like, this is total like J-pop, Japanese, like street culture. Like, this is Japanese art culture. Love it 100%. If there was also like Native American artwork and African American artwork and like Appalachian quilting folk art in here, not a cohesive deck to me. I would love to collect decks representative of all those cultures I just listed, but not so much a, like, I don't think, like, I hate when all that shit mishmashes together. Like, I was also that kid that I didn't like my food touching, if that helps at all to understand. Like, I need my mashed potatoes separate from my carrots, separate from my, like, piece of roast beef. Like, I needed them, like, and they couldn't touch, and no mixing. I didn't, and the stuff that did touch, I actually didn't eat. So like, like I'm so weird, but anyway, this would be my most culturally inclusive deck. It features like not only mythical type creatures, but it's got people of color. It is a LGBTQ deck. It's considered queer tarot, so it's representative of all sorts of genders and sexualities. It's representative of all sorts of cultures and peoples. Some of them don't even some of them aren't even actual people. Like, that guy is not even a, like, that's a, let me see if I can get it to focus for you. Yeah, that card is like one of, like, he's a robot thing. So, I mean, this I would have to say is probably my most culturally inclusive deck. The thing that I do like about it is not, so this isn't a mishmash. This is a very cohesive and singular piece of artwork. So sometimes that stuff does work. Like, I could have easily picked like my Cosmos Tarot and Oracle as my most culturally inclusive deck, because it is a it's a collaborative deck. So they're just by default, you get all sorts of representations of different cultures in it, but it's also not very cohesive, and I don't think it's tarot anyway. So Tarot of the Silicon Dawn would be one of my most inclusive decks. And then another one that I am choosing to show you, only because it does have, again, I love, if you're going to have a culturally inclusive deck, the thing that is really hard to achieve is that cohesion that makes it a, that kind of makes it a deck that works. And that would be the As Below deck from the, yes, this would be it. So this is the, so there's As Above and So Below. So this is the So Below of the Book of Shadows Tarot. And this is a very inclusive deck as far as for all the same reasons as the Book of Shadows tarot, or not the, I'm sorry, as the Silicon Dawn. Sorry, I had a little brain fart there. The other thing that I really like about this deck, and a lot of people are like, I didn't like the So Below deck, I like the As Above. The thing that I really like about this deck is it's much more grounded, and it's easier to, and normally I hate a people deck, but it's a little easier to apply some of the meanings to modern life, because a big portion of the cards are like, it's modern day situations. Like there's the yoga, there's computer, there's businesswoman, there's I just dropped a coffee cup on the counter because I'm super mad, trying to stick your kids in the tub. Like this is all, this one's a little weird. Fairies and filing. And then, oh my God, growing in the garden. I cannot wait, you guys. It's almost tomato season, T-minus like 4 months. But yeah, this is just very easy to apply to everyday life, because it basically is everyday life. So that's the other reason I wanted to show this one. This would be my other most culturally inclusive deck. But again, it was really hard to pick, because like most of my Rider Waits are more traditional Rider Waits. It's like, it's, you know, old-timey medieval white guys and gals, and then you know, some of them are like mermaids, and again, anything else that I have that has people in it is representative of just one culture as opposed to many. So these would be like that's it. I'm boring that way. Although I did just back a couple of decks, so I'm waiting for those Kickstarters to ship, and those are a little more inclusive. Including, oh God, I keep forgetting the name of it. There's another tarot deck, and it was like a really big deal, and I forget the name of it. But if I remember it, I'll stick it down below. So those are my 2 most culturally inclusive decks. So I'd love to hear from you guys. I agree, Groon. Woo-woo is just science we don't understand yet. I mean, and that is the case for everything that is science now. I mean, you know, look at the blue moon / eclipse thing. If you told somebody in the early 1300s that, oh well, that's just the shadow of the, you know, the earth moving across you would be murdered. You'd be murdered for that, because like no, that's like So I mean, so it's just, again, it's just science we don't understand yet. So you're absolutely 100% right there. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I really love mashed potatoes though, Grun. So Grun says you have to eat all of the carrots before eating the mashed potatoes, and then you eat the chicken. So I think that I would do the carrots, definitely, and then I would do the chicken, and then I would do the mashed potatoes, because me and potatoes have like this ongoing love affair. Oh, the Kickstarters. Yeah, that can be, there's a tarot group called For Love of Cards, and they do pretty good roundups. Like that's usually, and then I just check Kickstarter and Indiegogo like once every 2 weeks. You just do a quick search for tarot and oracle. Right now, there's nothing really that great there. Oh my God, Beaker is saying hi. Oh, you guys, he's such a handful. All right, and then the last question would be tarot apps. Do you have them? Do you use them? So I've got my trusty rusty device here. This is a new phone because Beaker crushed my last one, you guys. Awesome, right? I hate that guy so much sometimes. So for apps, I've got exactly 4 of them. I've got Labyrinthos Academy. If you don't have this one, get it. This is by Labyrinthos. And actually, these are the only tarot apps that I have, but Labyrinthos is like a good, like, teaching you. Yeah, it's Facebook. So Shell, For Love of Cards is on Facebook. You should just get like a fakey Facebook and then just join the card groups. I mean, honestly, if I didn't have to be on it for work, that's what I would do. So Labyrinthos Academy is great for beginners, and honestly, it's awesome to just kind of quiz you if you're not a beginner. I think it's 12,000 pounds of bite pressure. Per square inch, I want to say it averages about 200 to 300 pounds per inch, if that makes any sense. Like, he can open a macadamia nut like there's no tomorrow. And you need to buy special nutcrackers for those because they're so hard that they'll just break regular nutcrackers. And then I've got the Luminous Spirit Tarot app. So this app I actually like a whole lot. I'm trying to hold it so you can see it. So this is the Luminous Spirit, that deck that Spirit is that deck that I had to break up with. Where did it go? Here it is. So this was from my deck that I had to break up with. And it's like the one that's with the weirdly drawn people, but the app, you guys, is awesome. So I wish that, like, which is why I kind of wish the artwork was a little bit better. So this is tarot rituals and readings to coincide with the phases of the moon. And then the other one that I really enjoy, oh my goodness, stop it. The other one that I really enjoy would be the Golden Thread. So this is another way to preview her decks too. And that's, and you can like learn tarot and do readings here and kind of book them. Yeah, the luminous, so it seems it's a consensus. You're 100% like using the app is way better than using the deck. And then I just downloaded her new deck. She's got a new Lenormand out. It's super, sorry, my screen's a little hard to see. The Seventh Sphere app for her Lenormand, and then she's got a matching Marseille style tarot coming out. So that is going to be awesome. So those are the 3 tarot apps that I use. The app where you have to get the moon to charge or whatever. No. So Luminous Spirit is just like, hey, there's this moon phase coming up. You should do a reading to coincide with it. And then you can keep track of the reading, and it's got card meanings and images from her deck. It's nothing as you don't have to get the moon to charge or anything with that app. But yeah, no, it's her apps are really great. But otherwise, I don't have any tarot apps. And let me tell you why. I'm going to sound like super elitist snobby about it, but I don't think tarot apps are as valid as actually having cards in your hand. Like this pile of goodness here is more tangible as far as reading is concerned. Like, I don't know. I just feel like you need to have the cards, you need to shuffle them, and you need to choose. I don't think an algorithm can do as good a job as like having a brick of papery goodness in your hand. Is that weird? Like, I just don't like, there's no magic, there's no woo, there's no, like, nobody's actually touched some cards. Like, it's just so weird. Yeah, the moon charging screen is, yeah, it's the app loading. It's not, or the moon charging screen at the beginning. Yeah, so I mean, it's just it's the app loading. It's not anything. But yeah, no, I feel like, yeah, tarot apps I'm not a big fan of. I think they're great for previewing decks. Like, I haven't downloaded it yet, but Fool's Dog is awesome. They have a lot of apps for a lot of different decks. I think you have to pay for them all though. So one, I'm not about to pay for a tarot app. Absolutely not. I've paid enough for the decks in my collection that I have. I'm not paying for apps too, and I'm not going to use an app, so I'm not going to pay for it. So aside from just previewing cards, I really think having a deck is really important. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are like, well, what about people that can't afford tarot decks? Like, that's so horrible to exclude them. You can get a ton of tarot decks for under $5 on Amazon. You can get them used, you can get them, and I mean, that's what you would pay for an app, is right around $2 to $5, depending on the app. So having a deck of cards in your hands is just a completely different experience. You can still get the oh God, what's her face? Hey, call me now, babies. Oh God. Why can't I think of her? You can get God, what's her name? Miss Cleo. You can get her deck for $5 on Amazon. Like, you can have that tarot deck, and it's really, it's like, it's that far away from just being a rider weight. So I don't know why people wouldn't just get a deck. Like, I don't like, maybe if they don't like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I can't not. I don't know. And I think like if you really are that into tarot that you're downloading a ton of apps at that point, I think it's possible to just budget for a deck. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's, oh my God, Miss Cleo. It's so, the reason I couldn't think of it is because I just ordered the Madame Clara deck, and I kept wanting to say Madame Clara, but it's not Madame Clara, it's Miss Cleo. Like, it's two MCs together, and it was confusing. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so I have I have 4 tarot apps now from Labyrinthos. They're all free. I used the Golden Thread to preview the deck, Luminous Spirit, because why not download it if I'm already downloading the Golden Thread, and then Labyrinthos because I was learning tarot, and it was actually it's a really awesome tool. It's like kind of like flashcarding and pop quizzing yourself all the time, which isn't, people are afraid of they're afraid of the Miss Cleo decks. Why are they afraid of them? There's some guy on, oh my God, there's some guy on Etsy selling the Miss Cleo deck for $20. Like, he bought a bunch of them and then he just sticks them in a different bag, and he's like, $20 for this weird tarot deck. Like, he takes out the title card and he takes out the packaging. And I was just like, nice try. like, I was like, that deck looks familiar. I know where I've seen it before. Because honestly, it's a beautiful deck. Like, it's awesome. It's got like it's got like, I want to say it's ancient Egypt imagery, and then the backs are like super intricate, and like really, it's just a really pretty, it's a really pretty deck of cards. The colors are vivid and stuff. Oh, people are afraid of it. I hate that. Like, people are afraid of the tarot decks, but they're not afraid to download a tarot app. It's like, no. No. You can't, no, that's, no. That's like being all, oh, I'm afraid of serial killers, but I'll totally write to one in prison. Like, I don't want to meet one in person, but let's be pen pals. Like, no. Like, you guys, it's just a super no. And kind of like, it's such a weak sauce excuse. Like, either be all in or not. Like, don't dip a toe in the water. Like, that, it doesn't, this isn't like trying to go to the beach on kind of a warm end of April day. Like, you know, just get a deck. Like, just get one. They're not scary. They're about as scary as a ream of Staples copy paper. Like, that's, I mean, serious. Yeah, you can't blame it on an algorithm. I hate that. Like, algorithm. Yeah, you did spell it a little wrong, but I picked up what you put down. Wasn't going to point it out. People can't see it, but now they know. A logarithm. Anyway, all right, I'm sorry, I'm getting silly now. So would anybody like a quick reading before I have to run, because it is 9:59 and I do have to go to work at some point today, you guys. Yeah, people also pull out cards they don't, but I mean, like, it's just, if you don't want to deal with a card that you pull, like, you should absolutely 100% examine why you don't want to deal with it. And if that's the case, that you don't want to deal with it, it's probably very poignant. Also, if people are pulling cards and stuff that they're afraid of, they're just ignorant. They're just, they haven't bothered to do. And this is really, it is 2018. Still being ignorant in 2018 is absolutely 100% like a no-no. We all have smartphones. Google is a thing. Like, it takes like 5 seconds to Google the death card and be like, oh wait, that's not scary. Like, seriously, there's like a whole bunch of things that people are just like, well, people just don't know. And I'm like, bitch, Google. Like, Google is a thing. There's no excuse anymore to be ignorant. None. There's no excuse to not know anything. Like, even if you don't know it, you can find it out in 5 seconds. Like, Like, the only excuse you have for not knowing anything in this day and age is my phone ran out of battery. Like, that's like, but I'll look it up later. Like, that's, you can't, there's no excuse. Yeah, exactly. At that point, it's a choice, and that's not ignorance. That is just willful. That's willful bullshit at that point. But anyway, yes. So I got this beautiful deck the other day because Tarot Maps channel is really bad for my wallet. It's the Sacred Journey into the Animal Realms cards. Oh my God. Did that guy ever launch his rocket? The Flat Earth guy? I think I missed it. He was supposed to launch it in, God, was it in December? But then something happened with weather or whatnot. Sometimes Google is a lie. Like, you also have to, I suppose, like, the thing with the internet is that you have to learn to take some of it with a grain of salt. I should make a video about my first experience with the internet, you guys. It was a doozy. Oh my God, was it a doozy? Like, oh my, because I am old enough where, like, people didn't have computers, so you had to go to the school library, like, and the librarian had to help you use the internet because that was the only computer in the school to have it. Oh my God, I have to, okay, so I'm going to tell that story. I'm going to tell it right now, and then I'm going to make a separate video so that way it's not buried in this one. But, all right, so when I was in, like, the 5th grade, we were all assigned, we were just like, the teacher was like, you have to start getting familiar with things like computers and the internet. So you have to type this report, because we were still, like, handwriting essays. And then you had to use the internet as at least one of the sources for your thing. And we were all doing reports on the Holocaust because that was what we were learning in the 5th grade. Oh my goodness. So, my family didn't have a computer, so I had to, like, sign up at the library, and then they call you down because there was actually, like, there was, like, a ton of kids that just didn't have computers or internet yet. So, you signed up, you made an appointment, and it was like during other classes. So you actually could get pulled from your class to go use the computer to look up the stuff you needed to look up. And the librarian had to be there and help you because it was just, like, super, like, you had to type in DOS code to get onto it was like I am that ancient. I don't look it, but I really am ancient. So anyway, we're sitting down and was like, well, I have, like, my report was on Buchenwald concentration camp, and, like, you had to make a little diorama and you had to do a report. So, yeah, and you had to look up facts about the camp. So I was like, well, let's look up the facts about the camp, because it was kind of an obscure camp. Like, it's not Auschwitz. Like, people aren't like, oh yeah, we know that one. It was a little more, it was still a really bad camp, but I think it was like 3rd or 4th on the list. So it didn't get as much, behind it, as much coverage. So anyway, we're on the computer, and she's, like, typing in, like, the camp to look up facts about the camp. And the very first, there's, like, one website on it because that's how young the internet was. And it was a Holocaust denier website. It was like, they got to play volleyball in Buchenwald, and they had a choir, and it was just like, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And the librarian was just like, no, don't look at it. And I was just like, they got to play volleyball? Because I was like, yay, hi. And it was just the most ridiculous thing. And that was the only, and then she had to, like, call my teacher, like, on the phone to be like, she can't use the internet for this report. Like, it's like the only thing we can find on it is that it wasn't that bad. And it was that bad, but the internet said it wasn't that bad. So that is a 100, like, that was my first experience with the internet. And I learned right away that you can't always believe everything you read on it. So, oh my God, it was, like, the best. I just remember, like, the panicked, because I've always been a pretty cynical and dry child. So, like, when, like, I was, oh my God, it was, like, ridiculous. Well, I mean, like, it was pretty obvious that the site was put up by an actual Nazi. So it's, oh my God, not today's weak sauce pretender Nazis. Like, it was ridiculous. It was like the most, like I couldn't even, and like I got excused from that portion of the thing, and like the other kids were like, well, how come you don't have to use the internet? And then I was just like, the teacher was just like, like just don't like, don't tell them that's a thing out there. Like, and I was just like, I don't know, I'm really poor. Like, and, like it was like this big huge deal. And then they were afraid that I was gonna go home and tell my parents. And like they were just like super, it was like they were scrambling to cover their asses, and it was just like the most ridiculous and wonderful like experience. Like it's like my best like bad internet experience story ever. But anyway, it was magical. It was like, I just, oh my God. I mean, good for them that I have a wonderfully twisted sense of humor to begin with. I just watched the whole thing unfold, and I was just like, I was like, this is like, I don't know why, like, but I know that this is gonna be great, like many decades from now, when everybody has the internet. But anyway, all right, I'm gonna pull a card for us on the heels of that amusing and amazing story. I'm gonna pull a card for us from the animal, the Sacred Journey into the Animal Realms deck. It is a beautiful deck. Even if the artwork isn't your style, seriously consider getting it, because the deck supports a small, independently run animal shelter. And it's a shelter not just for like puppies and kittens, it's for like farm animals and stuff too. And it's kind of amazing. It's got gilded edges. It comes in an amazing box with an amazing book. I will do a flip through at some point. And not all the artwork is going to jive with you. And that's okay, but that's every deck. And it's kind of like bright and colored and super happy. I would consider this one a hug deck. And like the little stories that come with each of the cards is seriously going to make you be like single tear. All right. So we have, hey Karen, how are you? All right. So we have, ooh, Alchemy is the card for the day. Oh my goodness, Beaker. So Alchemy, let me see if I can get it to focus for you. They're emus. There we go. Look at that beautiful, look at those beautiful little emu babies. So the deck is called Sacred Journey into the Animal Realms, and this is the Alchemy card. So Alchemy is transforming. First of all, I don't know why they would put emus on this, because the emus aren't nice. Oh my God, Beaker, he's so crazy. Talking about loud and obnoxious birds. So alchemy is taking one thing and transforming it into another, but something that you would consider, you know, equal. So today I think we're going to work on transmuting our negative energy and maybe like negative, unused, silly, you know, just all the energy that kind of goes to waste for the day. Maybe we should think about transmuting it into something a little more productive, and a little more positive. So even if you don't have necessarily negative energy or whatever floating around you, you know, just take, or even if you don't have it, but you find it around you, like if somebody's being kind of like a dick on Facebook, or maybe you have a customer today that's like really stupid, or your boss is kind of being a turd, or a coworker's being a turd, or your kids are being turds. Basically anybody that's being a turd today in any way, take their energy, take that negativity and transmute it into something positive that's going to work for you. And I think with the full moon, that is like, it's the perfect opportunity to kind of do that, especially where it's a full blue moon and, you know, you can kind of work a little bit of extra woo. Hi, Lunar Feather. How are you? Hi, Karen. Did I say hi to you yet? Hi, Karen. How are you? But yeah, I think, well, Shell, if you don't have any negative snarky energy, then you're just perfect, aren't you? We should all be like Shell. Oh my goodness. Did I just call you Karen, Shell? I think I just called you Karen earlier. Yeah. Well, I mean, oh my goodness. Sorry. But yes, so Shell, if you don't have any negative snarky energy, then I guess you're just the most perfect person on the face of the planet. And we should all, oh my goodness. Hi, Brenda. Do you have an official channel now? That's so exciting. So yeah, we should take that negative, we should take any kind of negativity or just, you know, frittered away energy, like not necessarily stagnant, but wasted, I think. Just go ahead and like, why don't we just snatch it for ourselves and transmute it into something useful for ourselves? It's all there. So that's what we should do. Anyway. All right, I have to go to work now and I have to go quell that monstrosity in the background. So anyway, I will see you guys later. I am going to, oh my God, Shell, you're being so cheeky this morning. I'm going to, Brenda, like, I hope you're doing well, Brenda. I love the new name change, by the way. So I'm going to go now because it's time to go to work. All right, you guys, thank you for hanging in there with me for the morning's chit chat. And I think we're going to definitely schedule more of these. So I will see you later and have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.